Hey everybody, this is my video for the Vise thumb and turbo thumb switch grip systems. I'm going to apologize in advance. I kind of ran out of time and this has proved to be kind of a difficult video to film already, so it's not going to be the greatest quality, and I'm not actually going to get to show it to you on actually drilling a ball, but I think you can get the concept just me showing you the pieces. I said on my post on ball reviews that I prefer the Vise system over the turbo system. I think the Vise system is more durable. Now, it does have a lot more working parts. It takes longer to install. It's a lot more of a pain in the butt. But the turbo system is a lot easier to install, but the fixes are more expensive. I'll show you the pieces now that are involved in putting the Vise system in, and I'll show you the pieces that are involved in putting the turbo system in. Here are all the pieces that's involved in putting in the Vise system. Here are all the pieces that it's involved in putting in the turbo system. Just getting right into it, you're going ahead and drill the fingers, and then you will go to drill the thumb. We recommend using an 1¼ bit first. The size of bits that the Vise sends to you with their starter kit, you get an 1 5/16 bit and you get an 1 7/16 bit. That's because they have two different size slugs. They have an 1¼ slug and an 1 3/8 slug that you can use depending on your thumb size. If you can get away with it, I definitely recommend going with the 1¼ slug. It takes a lot less out of the bowling ball. There's already a lot of material coming out of the bowling ball to begin with, so the less you can take out, the better. But you'll go on ahead, if you notice this bit has a collar on it, that's so that we can get the same depth every single time. So if we go ball to ball to ball, the slugs that you have will fit flush with the ball surface on every single bowling ball. If we didn't have this collar on here, one slug might be sticking up a little bit, the next slug might be sunken in a little bit. So it's really important to have that collar on there. Once you do that, you will use a 1/2 inch bit, and you need to go down an inch in the center of the hole that you drilled. This piece goes in the ball. This is the bottom lock that goes in the ball. There's a little corkscrew. There's the stem right there. This stem will go down inside that 1/2 inch hole, and the reason I say make it an inch deep, if this thing bottoms out, you can see it comes out. If this is sticking out at all, it will impact with the bottom of the slug when you go to try to screw it in, and it will not fit, or it'll be a really tight fit. It's important to get this thing seated, and I drill an inch hole deep, or an inch deep hole, just to be on the safe side. Once you're done drilling the inch hole on the press, you can go on ahead and take it off. This piece will go on the bottom of this insertion tool. It's hard to do. I wish I had like 3 or 4 hands for this, but you'll go ahead and screw that on. This insertion tool, you can see the line on the back here. You will want to go on ahead, and that line goes at the very back of the thumb hole. So the line that you drilled, with the center line that you drilled for the layout, you'll need to make that longer than the thumb. You'll need to go on ahead and run past the thumb, because you'll use the other side of that line at the back to line this line up with. You'll go on ahead and insert that in the bowling ball. Here is a collar that goes at the top of the bowling ball in the hole. As you'll see, this fits around here. Once you go to put the slug in, it's just a spacer that keeps it away from the side of the bowling ball, gives it a little bit of room to breathe. That makes for less friction that way between the side of the bowling ball and the sleeve. As you can see with the turbo system, there's friction all the way down, and that's part of what I don't like about this system, but I'll talk about that in a minute. You go on ahead and insert this. Wait for it to dry. This is a tamping rod that you insert down the center of this hole on the installation tool. You use this tamping rod to drive down this piece in the corkscrew. You want to make sure that, like I said, you want to make sure that this is all the way seated. Well, it's a pretty tight fit with the hole already before you even get it in there, and so this has a tendency to push out while you're installing it to begin with, because this is just loose. It's not fixed at all. So you'll use this tamping rod to install it, to tap it down and make sure it's flush. Now, these are plastic parts, so I don't recommend hitting it too hard. It took me a couple of times to figure out just exactly how hard I could hit it. But you need to hit it fairly hard to get it down in there, to get it seated properly. But obviously, if you hit it too hard, you shatter it, and if you shatter it, if the glue is already set, you're putting it back on the drill press and trying to line it back up, and that's not very easy. Moving along, this piece right here, once you use the tamping rod to drive that down, I don't know if you can see if this sucker's tapered. The top is a little bit wider than the bottom, and what you'll do with that is you'll insert that down this hole again once you take the tamping rod out. That goes in down in here, and you can see that there's a slit there. It's tapered, and it basically works like a wedge to force these apart but just create a better seat down inside the hole. Once you're done installing that, you can go on ahead and remove, you just unscrew this and pull this out. You're done with the ball part. When you go to drill the slug, this is what the slug looks like. The newer ones come without the slug attached to this corkscrew piece at the bottom, because these quite frequently come off. One of the safety measures, or what I said to make it a little bit more bulletproof, we rough up the bottom of the slug and then rough up the inside of this where the slug meets the bottom of this corkscrew, because this is one of the places where this can come unglued and this can come off. There is a safety molly, which I'll show you in a second, to keep this, even if it does come off, all it'll do is spin. The slug won't come flying out. You won't lose pieces. But basically, here's the ball. Here's the ball right here that you will use to drill this. You stick this down in here, and there's a little lock down on the bottom so it doesn't spin all over the place. You'll go ahead and drill your hole until you get down to this little aluminum piece down here in the bottom. Once the bit hits that, you're done drilling. You make your oval if you have to. Once you get done drilling the hole, you pop this out from the back. Once you pop that out, you have this that is inserted down inside the thumb hole, and then you have this on the other side that basically, this is on the outside, this is on the inside. These lock together, and you will go on ahead and glue those. That's what keeps the slug from coming apart from this piece. If it does in fact come unglued, all you have to do is take it back in and re-glue it. That's it for the Vise system. It's a lot of steps, and it's kind of interesting the first time you do it. You keep looking at the instructions and turn them upside down, and however that works. Now the turbo system is actually really simple. You'll take your slug and you'll insert it in this sleeve, which got the little tabs at the bottom there. You will go on ahead and use this bit. It's an 1.5" bit. Drill it down to the collar. You will insert this outside sleeve in there. Push it all the way down. Get it seated in the right spot. There's those where the tabs fit. Once you've got this seated, and once again we rough up the sides of this, so these have come out before, these are broken before, because the surface is really slick and the glue just has nothing to adhere to, and so we rough up the outside of this before we stick it in the thumb hole, so that it's got something with a little grip to hold the glue to it. But once you've got that in there, you can go on ahead and either cut that off, or it's easier to just go on ahead and cut this off and then move it back, and then put this in there, because it's kind of hard to twist this when it's flush with the top. Once you have the slug in there, you'll go on ahead and put that inside the sleeve that's installed in the bowling ball. You'll go on ahead and seat it, drill your hole, and shave it off, and that's really all there is to that. Now, like I said, the fixes are more expensive with this, because if these tabs here on the bottom pop off, it's a new slug. You can't get the slug out of here and put it in a new one. It just doesn't happen. The slug gets glued down in here, and again, we rough up the insides of that, and we rough up the outside of the slug to make it adhere better. We put the glue on it. But that's really all there is to it. And then again, if this thing comes out, it's a really easy fix. But for the installation for the other part, it's kind of expensive. I think that's it. That's all I got to say. So like, favorite, comment, subscribe, whatever you got to do. If you're on Ball Reviews, you'll know me as Gizmo. If you're not on Ball Reviews, if you just found this looking around YouTube, check out ballreviews.com. Best bowling site on. Best bowling forum on the internet. Thanks a bunch, guys. Sorry about the lighting. This is terrible. And sorry about my face, but that's another story. Thanks for watching the video. Appreciate it, guys. We'll talk to you later.